three questions. The first question was about the suggestion or kind of seeking any experience in this regard. That what is there a possibility that we could standardize the cost of recruitment in terms of a standard currency? For example, we say that $600 or $500 wherever you are. Definitely, it has a bearing with the purchasing power parity, but still they want to know if there is any information on this, or it's kind of a suggestion also. Then there is a question.
Sorry, this is Zishan or Imran?
Zishan.
Zishan, right.
I am Zishan, but the participant is Imran, who has asked this question.
Just to clarify, this standardizing the cost of recruitment from countries of origin, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, next question.
Okay. The second question is that are there any best practices which you could share that what are the models that we could follow or seek further information on about the employer's engagement into this recruitment process? And thirdly, what are the best practices for this pre-departure orientation in other countries? If there are any, you please share. These are three things so far.
आपका क्वेश्चन जो था वो कंट्री ऑफ ओरिजिन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से नहीं था. आपने कहा कि COD जो है वो मिनिमम उस क्लास ऑफ माइग्रेशन के बारे में.
Okay, just a clarification for the first question, that is, it was not the suggestion or the question was not about the standardization of cost of recruitment in the country of origin, but with respect to the country of destination, that if they can standardize such costs. So that's the question. Over to you, Shabri.
Excellent. No, thank you very much for these questions. All right. So let me take them one by one to the distinguished participant who spoke about standardizing the cost of recruitment. Let me give you an example. For instance, recently, last year, पिछले साल हमने एक research, we did a research with the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics, BBS. BBS के साथ हमने जो collaboration किया, the idea from that collaboration was how do we understand how much cost migrant workers are paying to go mainly to the Middle East. तो उसमें से ये पता चलता है कि migrant workers from Bangladesh are paying about $4,500 per worker. $4,500 they are paying Bangladeshi migrant workers to migrate on an average. तो हमने ये भी did in our survey कि अगर उनको तो ये recruitment agent को देते हैं तो ये पैसा उनके पास कहाँ से आता है? They don't have that money, so they take it from somebody else. They take it from the money lender. कंट्रीज में ऐसा कोई पॉलिसी नहीं है। नेपाल में होगा ऐसा पॉलिसी, बट आप हमारे कंट्री से ले लो। सो दैट काइंड ऑफ एन इशू शुड बी अवॉइडेड। व्हाई? बिकॉज हमारे कंट्रीज में बहुत सारे लोग काम के बिना बैठे हैं एंड वी हैव टू गिव देम जॉब। अगर हमारे कंट्रीज में नहीं है, so let's find them job somewhere else. But that means we are not ensuring safe migration. We are not ensuring regular migration. This also adds to the cost. Sir, I hope I've answered your question. In terms of best practices on employers' engagement in recruitment practices, this is a very good question. So let me look at employers in South Asia. Let's look at the Employers Federation of Pakistan, EFP. EFP has played such a fantastic role over the last 2 years as the chair of SAFE, South Asian Federation of Employers. And in fact, it was under EFP's leadership, जो SAFE, जो regional employers organizations हैं, they accepted and they came together, endorsed a declaration, adopted a declaration on migrant workers from South Asia, on the rights of migrant workers from South Asia. Now, what we have to do in terms of specific angles of best practices is look at what needs to be done. I'll give you an example in the context, once again coming to Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, the Employers Federation is called BEF, Bangladesh Employers Federation. The Bangladesh Employers Federation was responsible for bringing in the recruitment agencies as a part of the Bangladesh Employers Federation. So it is only in Bangladesh where the BIRA, as it's called, BIRA is the Bangladesh Association of International Recruitment Agencies. वो association अब BEF का एक member है. So therefore, as a member of BEF, it becomes very important for BIRA to follow certain rules in terms of fair recruitment, in terms of skills development, and so on. So I think that's a very good example. The second example that I'll give you is in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka में EFC, Employers Federation of Ceylon, उन्होंने क्या किया है? They have made sure in Sri Lanka that all aspects of returning migrants, जो भी वापस आ रहे हैं श्रीलंका में, उनका जो skills है वो recognize किया जाए. So Sri Lanka is the first country in the region which has a skills passport for returning migrants, thanks to the effort of the EFC, Employers Federation of Ceylon. Therefore, when migrants are recruited and they leave, they gain skills in the country of destination. Those skills are now recognized through the skills passport in the context of EFC. So these are two good examples which I believe that Pakistan can also take into consideration. So, can Toyota become a member of EFP? Can Pakistan, can the government of Pakistan also consider a skills passport in Pakistan? ILO stands ready to support. If the government of Pakistan decides to have a skills passport, ILO stands ready to support. In fact, we have that in our work plan for this year in one other country because of the experience that we have seen in Sri Lanka. The third question that you asked was pre-departure orientation best practices. Pre-departure orientation कब होता है? Pre-departure orientation तब होता है जब आपके पासपोर्ट में वीजा हो. अगर आपके पासपोर्ट में वीजा नहीं है तो प्री-डिपार्चर ओरिएंटेशन नहीं होता. राइट? अब आप ही सोचिए, मेरे बारे में आप सोचिए, मैं गल्फ में पढ़ा हुआ, मेरा फादर थे माइग्रेंट वर्कर कतार में, मैं कतार में पढ़ा हुआ, और कतार में जब मैं पापा से पूछता हूँ, डैडी आप कभी प्री-डिपार्चर ओरिएंटेशन लिए? लेकिन वो departure orientation comes to the person only after the visa is on the passport. So, अगर आप pre-departure orientation दें या ना दें, फिर भी migrant workers चले जाएंगे, बिल्कुल, क्योंकि उनको वापस घर में पैसा भेज देता है, उनको they have to take care of their families, they have to pay the recruitment agent, they have to pay the money lender जितना पैसा उन्होंने लिया है, right? So what we need to look is, but that doesn't mean pre-departure orientation is not important. We need to look at pre-decision orientation. तो ऐसा एक best practice हो रहा है श्रीलंका में क्या, श्रीलंका और नेपाल में दोनों जगह पे they are doing something called as pre-decision orientation. Pre-decision orientations के लिए the trade unions and the community-based organizations वो जाते हैं अपने provinces, districts में बैठ के local areas में, local authority areas में, self governments जो है उनके areas में बैठ के they have chats, they have conversation, बातचीत होती है ऐसे with the community और उनको बताया जाता है कि अगर आपको migrate करना है तो safely migrate कीजिए. ये क्लासरूम ओरिएंटेशन नहीं होता है, वो चाय पी के अपना एक ट्री के नीचे बैठ के after an afternoon meet, the community based organization and trade unions will explain this to the communities. That is called pre-decision orientation, and this is a very good example that is happening in Sri Lanka and Nepal, and hopefully that is also an initiative that the trade unions and civil society organizations in Pakistan could also take into consideration if this has not already happened. I hope I have answered these three questions. Zishan?
Zishan sir?
Yes, thank you very much, Shabri, for your
Spectacular plan by ILO to compensate for the migrants who are stuck and affected by the pandemic COVID-19. If yes, then grant will be delivered through government or through private organization. This is a really important question because migrants are asking these questions in the regional offices, in the protectorates of the Bureau of Immigration and Overseas Employment.
Can I quickly answer that question, sir? Thank you so much.
Yes, please.
Mr. Sir, for that question,
Yes.
I think you're right. It's very important. लेकिन sir, देखिए ये होता है. I don't think ILO is best placed to provide grants to migrant workers specifically. So if that is what you were asking, then that is not happening. And I don't think that is ILO's role as well to engage in money transfer. But I think what ILO has are specific programs and projects. I'll give you an example. For instance, Zishan bhai jo hai, he is looking at a specific project that looks at recruitment, right? So it's the recruitment framework in the context of Pakistan. What we can do from ILO side is specifically, of course, work with the government in terms of policy, in terms of ensuring that the fair recruitment practices are totally and well put in place. However, we can also work in a fair recruitment practice in their own codes of conduct, for instance, in their own. But those are the kind of projects that most of the work is happening through. However, there is also discussions that we are having, for instance, with World Bank. World Bank के साथ हमारे जो collaboration है, वो हो रहा है, for instance, बांग्लादेश में जो returning migrants workers हैं, उनके लिए एक छोटा सा grant दे, 5,000 बांग्लादेश टाका. लेकिन ये this is not sustainable. अगर किसी को आपने 5,000 रुपए दिया, तो एक महीना चला जाएगा उसमें से. अगर हो तो एक महीना ज्यादा तो ज्यादा एक महीना, एक हफ्ते में 5,000 आज तो खत्म हो जाता है. तो we have to keep in mind that when it comes to cash grants, money grants, we have to look at the most sustainable way, and in fact
एक्सपर्ट्स हैं। इसके अंदर जो कैटेगरीज हैं सेमी स्किल्ड और लेबर्स की, गल्फ कंट्री ने उसका क्या किया है कि आए दिन महंगाई के साथ साथ उनकी पे पैकेज इजाफा होने के बजाय उनकी बहुत कम सैलरीज लग के आती हैं, उसके अंदर ऑफर करते हैं। ILO की जो मेंबर्स हैं 187 कंट्रीज और स्पेसिफिक वो होस्ट कंट्रीज जहां हमारी कंट्रीज के लोग और एम्प्लॉयर के पास जा रहे हैं फॉरेन कंट्री, उनके ऊपर मिनिमम जो है वेजेस ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज का वो फिक्स रेट कर दिया जाए कि इससे कम कोई एम्प्लॉयर जो है तनख्वाह फिक्स नहीं करेगा। रसद और तलब की वजह से इसके अंदर एक मेजर गैप है कि अपॉर्चुनिटीज कम हैं और एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए जो है बेरोजगारी में इजाफा है। तो उसको अगर इम्पोज कर दिया जाए तो जितने हमारे सेमी स्किल्ड और लेबर्स कैटेगरी है उनकी फिक्स तनख्वाहें अच्छी हो जाएंगी। नंबर 2, ILO ऐसा करे कि इनके जो राइट्स हैं होस्ट कंट्री और एम्प्लॉयज जो हैं वहाँ पे लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, क्योंकि एक्सीडेंट्स की रेशो डेथ एंड डिसेबिलिटीज की काफ़ी हैं, वहाँ होस्ट कंट्री एम्प्लॉयज उसको कुछ भी प्रोवाइड नहीं करता। सिर्फ वो हमारा जो कंट्री है पाकिस्तानी बेस पे उसको 10 लाख और 4 लाख हमारे OPF और स्टेट लाइफ की तरफ से इंश्योर जो हम करते हैं टाइम ऑफ प्रोटेक्टर सिर्फ वही मिलता है। एम्प्लॉयर की तरफ से इंश्योरेंस मिलने की रेशो ना होने के बराबर है, वो भी उन पे फिक्स की जाए। नंबर 3, ILO जो है अपनी इंटरनेशनल ट्रेनिंग्स की वो भी कोई अपॉर्चुनिटीज ब्यूरो ऑफ इमिग्रेशन को प्रोवाइड करें ताकि फ्री ऑफ कास्ट हम इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे जाकर ट्रेनिंग हासिल करके आएँ और हमारा हर इमिग्रेंट जो जाए हम उसको उतने अच्छे स्टैंडर्ड पे ब्रीफ करके भेजें ताकि वो अपनी अच्छी महारत दिखाए जिससे मुल्क और ILO के रोल में इजाफा हो। क्योंकि वेयर देयर इज राइट देयर इज रेमेडी, इसी तरह वेयर देयर इज राइट ऑफ लेबर देयर इज ILO। तो मेरे ILO के फोरम से ये 3 रिक्वेस्ट हैं ताकि इस पे इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे वर्क हो सके।
Sir, thank you so much. Where there is right of labor, there is ILO. आपसे परमिशन लूंगा कि अगले बार जब मैं प्रेजेंटेशन करूंगा तो मैं ये कोट जरूर।
You got a new slogan actually. You got a new slogan.
Give yourself a round of applause to the participants. Where there is right of labor, there is ILO. I think this is tremendous, and I think this coming from you means a lot for our work. Let me give you. So let me start with a few of the things that you mentioned. What minimum wages? Sir, minimum wages तो अपने ही लोगों के लिए नहीं है. We struggle with giving minimum wages to our own people in our own countries, to our workers in our own countries. Informal sector में क्या minimum wages होता है? Right? So wage protection system is still very weak in our countries. Now I'll give you this. India में अभी labor codes हुआ है. There's been an endorsement of 4 labor codes. उसमें एक wage protection system लाया गया है. जैसे मिनिमम वेज है जो डिफरेंट स्टेट्स में जो है, अगर केरल में काम कर रहे हैं या यूपी में काम कर रहे हैं, राजस्थान पंजाब में काम कर रहे हैं, उनके लिए सेपरेट ये सब है. बट यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. तो नाउ started this minimum wages for migrant workers. The other country is Sri Lanka. अब ये देखिए, Qatar in September last year, Qatar introduced very specific reforms. किस वजह से? Because of the ILO support to the government of Qatar. There is an ILO office in Qatar. वहाँ पे there were reforms that were made. Now these reforms specifically talk about minimum wages for all migrant workers in Qatar. What is it? 1,000 Qatari riyals. 1,000 Qatari riyal है minimum wages for migrant workers in Qatar. अगर वो पाकिस्तानी हो या इंडियन हो, बांग्लादेशी हो, श्रीलंकन हो, नेपाली हो, कोई भी हो, कहीं से भी हो, फिलिपिनो हो, कहीं से भी हो, they have to pay, they will get minimum 1,000 Qatari riyals plus food and accommodation. The problem is that in our countries, in South Asia, ये भी हुआ है कि वहाँ पे उन्होंने बोला है 1,000 Qatari riyal. 1,000 Qatari riyal कितना डॉलर हुए? 350 या 300 to 350 dollars. 100 Qatari riyal, 1,000 Qatari riyal के. But in some of our countries, the minimum wage is established below the 350 dollars. तो कतर गवर्नमेंट ये सोचेगी क्या हम इन माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स की पैसा बढ़ा रहे हैं, लेकिन जहां से हमारे हैं वहां sir, again, life insurance, a big part of social protection system, ये नहीं हो रहा है. And I'll tell you, this is not just for Pakistani migrant workers across South Asia. This is in conversation. So good point. I'm glad you suggest this. I'm very happy that I hear it from you as well in Pakistan. This is certainly something that the ILO is having as a conversation with countries of destination. But it is much more difficult in terms of having life insurance. So what we are saying is, country of origin में जब वो जाते हैं यहाँ से ticket जब लेके जाते हैं, then in that along with that ticket there should be a life insurance policy. Because most of our migrant workers, sir, are not dying because of COVID. A lot of our migrant workers are falling from the construction site. A lot of our migrant workers are dying in car accidents. A lot of our migrant workers are dying because of the extreme heat. So therefore, I think this life insurance perspective is very important, and it's better that they take it from the country of origin and go, so that it would. So this is something we need to make mandatory here. It exists, but it is not again something that is fully implemented. And the last one on international trainings, again, very happy to support you on this. I know that Reframe, and Zishan, correct me if I'm wrong, Reframe has done a lot of support. The Pakistan Country Office, Ingrid, and everybody else has given great support for the trainings of delegates from Pakistan, whether it's government, employers, trade unions, recruitment agencies as well, for international trainings at the ITCs, at the ILO's ITC, the International Training Center. I hope I have covered all your points.
रिइंटीग्रेशन जो है वो करिए कि रिटर्निंग माइग्रेंट जो है वो बेसिकली अगर कोविड-19
चले जाते हैं ताकि वो ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाए, ताकि पेरेंट कंट्री में भी अगर काम करना चाहते हैं और फ्यूचर में दोबारा कोविड जब खत्म हो जाएगा डेफिनेटली
उनके लिए बेसिकली लोकल अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट की जाए और उनको बाद में जो है बाहर
क्या काम है हमारे लिए और ईओ का क्या.
Okay, this question is directed towards ILOs and donors like European Union's role in helping the governments to ensure that whoever has returned, particularly amidst this COVID-19 pandemic, what are the opportunities for the governments to avail from the ILO and the donors or the typical actors to ensure an effective reintegration strategy or plans, whatever they have in their mind. I think that's the question.
No, excellent question, sister. Thank you very much for that question. I think it's exactly along the lines of some of the things that I mentioned. So, manager बोला था returning migrants to Sri Lanka. उनका जो skills है वो recognize किया गया है. So those skills, to recognize those skills, एक skills passport का जो facility हमने establish किया है. मैंने बोला था EFC, Employers Federation of Ceylon ने किया था, लेकिन हमारे support, ILO के support से उन्होंने किया है. That is one example. I'll give you another example. जो इंडिया में अब बातचीत हो रहा है, इंडिया में there is something called as Swades, Skilled Workers Database. ये जो बाहर से आ रहे हैं, अब इंडिया में करीबन 40 लाख तक, I may be wrong, but up to 40 लाख migrant workers जो है हमारे वो वापस आ गए हैं. और इन 40 लाख में ज्यादातर लोग गल्फ से आ रहे हैं. Okay, तो NSDC, National Skills Development Corporation, उन्होंने एक skills card, जो जब आप एयरपोर्ट एयरलाइन अपना इस्लामाबाद में लैंड होता है तो आपको इमिग्रेशन कार्ड दिया गया ना, वो दिया जाता है कि आप फिल करो कहाँ से आ रहे हैं, क्या नाम है आपका, डेट ऑफ बर्थ, ये सब. ऐसे एक इमिग्रेशन कार्ड के साथ एक स्किल्स कार्ड भी दिया जाता है. स्किल्स कार्ड में माइग्रेंट वर्कर को लिखता है वो क्या काम करते थे, क्या उनका स्किल्स, कारपेंटरी, पेंटिंग, इलेक्ट्रिकल वायरिंग, मशीन ऑपरेटर, सो ऑन. ये सब लिखने के बाद they use NSDC, National Skills Development Corporation, has been using that to provide the necessary training, recognition of these skills, and then looking at how best these people can be integrated in the job market within India. कहाँ पे job है, and accordingly facilitating their participation. This is also something that ILO is in discussion with NSDC to see how it can be replicated in is also one of the first governments in the region to have put out such a comprehensive immigration policy. और उस immigration policy में reintegration के बारे में कुछ कहा गया है, लेकिन एक comprehensive reintegration policy भी चाहिए, या उस policy immigration policy में एक sub policy चाहिए जिसके लिए we have to work on reintegration. There, ILO will be the first to support you in the development of that reintegration policy, like we did in the context of Sri Lanka.
Thank you.
We have got, as you know, we have 190 standards, and these 190 standards apply in different contexts for migrant workers. But perhaps the one standard or standards that apply to this is the OSH standard, the Occupational Safety and Health standards. Now, I'm not the OSH expert, so I won't be able to go into detail on this. I'm sure our country office, Ingrid, and some of the other colleagues may be able to give you a better answer for this. But specifically on that, the occupational safety and health of migrant workers, especially those who are working in what we call dangerous jobs. ये dangerous jobs जो होते हैं वो construction में ज़्यादा construction में होते हैं, and these dangerous jobs are in situations where migrant workers are not given the right instructions. कि scaffolding में अगर वो काम कर रहे हैं तो do they have the right experience? उनके जो skills हैं. So you see, my point is, जब आप ऑक्यूपेशन सेफ्टी हेल्थ के बारे में बात करते हैं, वो एक अलग हिस्से में नहीं देखा जा सकता. You have to look at occupational safety health along with skills, because only if you have the skill for that can you avoid a situation where you will get injured. Injury ना आए उसके लिए skills चाहिए. Scaffolding अगर आप कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए scaffolding का skill चाहिए, scaffolder का skill चाहिए. Carpentry कर रहे हैं तो you are using बड़े-बड़े knives, उसके लिए you need to be able to know how to do carpentry. Electrical wiring technicians, they are dealing with electricity. You have to be very careful, and therefore that requires a separate skill. So, OSH, occupational safety or health, or skills